Hey there, I'm Jennifer,
And I'm Jackie.
and welcome to Slightly Unsupervised. We're best friends, business partners in the chaos behind Bestie, a ceremony we created to celebrate the kind of soulmates who don't come with a marriage license.
This podcast is all about that friendship energy, the deep stuff, the messy stuff, and the laugh till you snort stuff.
So whether you're driving, folding laundry, or hiding in your car for some peace and quiet,
You're in good company. Let's get slightly unsupervised. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Slightly Unsupervised. Today's episode is about something I think a lot of women do without even realizing how much it's hurting them. Pretending everything is hunky dory, smiling when you're overwhelmed, saying, I'm good when you're falling apart, handling everything yourself. Keeping the house running, taking care of everybody else, making the life look normal while eternally you're exhausted, anxious, lonely, or emotionally underwater. And honestly, women get really good at it because somewhere along the way, a lot of us learned that being strong meant not burdening anyone else with our problems. So today we want to talk about why women hide how overwhelmed they really are, why asking for help feels uncomfortable, why so many women feel pressure to perform happiness, and how dangerous it can become when nobody knows you're struggling.
yeah. Well, here's the line I want to say, and if you haven't said this or you haven't thought this, then I'm not sure that this will pertain to you. But if I stop holding everything together, everything falls apart. Have you ever had that thought in your head, Jackie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Lot.
because we as women find that we take on so many things that by the time we are exhausting ourselves, we have literally convinced ourselves that if we don't continue on down the path of keeping everything together, well, it will all fall apart. And so what do? We just put more and more pressure on ourselves to keep everything
Mm-hmm.
together. And,
And some of us was taught that from an early age,
yep.
where
Yeah, we
we
talked
did
about
that.
that with you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chucky was very inundated with having to take care of her little brother. So, um,
Not just that, I always felt I was also taking care of, my parents in a way too, I kept the house, like,
yeah,
I always felt like if they were fighting, I wanted to try to keep the calm, like, by keeping the house good, kept
right.
them from arguing, trying to, doing certain things so they wouldn't get upset with each other, that type of stuff.
Sure. So you kept your brothers in order, made sure the house
Mhm.
was clean, made sure your parents got along, made
Yep.
sure that everything ran smoothly, made sure that, people get up and move along. So you were a mother
Mhm.
from the get go, really. I don't know. Were you ever a child, Jack? Like, do you ever feel like, I was without a lot of burden during these years? Do you have any of those years?
Yeah, I would say when I was much younger. I would say when I start remembering worrying about things and trying to make things right was probably about 5th grade was about
So
the time. Yeah.
kindergarten or birth till fourth grade, you were at least felt
Mhm.
like you were in pretty good. Is that about the time
Mhm.
you moved to the mountains?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Oh,
about
okay.
well, we moved up a little bit before that, but it was about 5th grade that I remember.
That
Mhm.
you were now in charge. Well, I mean, that's
Mhm.
typical. I think every child does that. I know in my house, my mom was divorced, so there was a lot of just paying attention to the environment around me and
Mhm.
being very sensitive to it as it heated up and cooled down and heated up and cooled down. That especially my mom went through a second divorce when I was 12, so there's you definitely pick up on some extra responsibilities trying to keep everybody from falling apart or exploding or whatever it is. So we start from a young age, us girls would do.
Mhm.
I'm not saying every woman does it, but a majority of us do. It would be harder to find somebody who didn't have any responsibilities like that than it would be to find someone who did. But being needed can and will become the identity of you. And it can be a curse for you because when you are this way, and most of us are, that being needed, becomes your identity. And I can tell you, Jackie, you can agree with me or disagree with me. Being needed is your identity because you're a woman who's been putting it all together. And then what happens? What happens that it causes a huge problem in your life? Your children grow up and they don't need you. And so it can be a very steep drop off of a cliff when you realize that your entire existence ran around children and being together and keeping everything together and the husband, all of it, keeping your house together. And then this group of humans don't need you anymore. You're like, what? I mean, I know I had an emotional crisis when my son went off to college because I was like, what am I now? Like, it was a hard
Mhm.
time for me for sure. And I know that all
It
women
can hurt
struggle.
your yeah, it can hurt your
Hmm.
feelings, depress you.
Yeah,
'Cause you're wanting
because,
them to call you and ask for help.
right.
I remember, like, my son got hurt, him and his friends, and my son was up at college in, what do you call it? Up in Northern California, like 5 hours away, and he called me at 9 o'clock at night, and I was there by the next morning. I'm, like,
Right.
in my car, and I was like, "Oh, he needs me."
Right.
I did
Right,
not. I'm like, "Oh, he called mom. I am there." By the
right.
time,
Your
he got home from
identity.
emergency, I am there. We're back at emergency room because he thought he was so tough and he didn't need crutches. And I'm like, "Why didn't you get the crutches? We're going back to the emergency room. You're getting crutches."
Because
Taking
what
care of
happened?
everything.
Your calling came into place. You're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
they need me again, so here is my
Mhm.
job, I'm back." And then the next
Uh-huh.
minute, they're like, "I got it, mom, you go." You're like, "What? Wait a minute. I need to take care of you. There needs to be let me get you a bed," like so some of that happens, and we're not the only girls that go through that, and there are a lot of women that go through that
Mhm.
because it's like an identity, and when you throw everything
Mhm.
into the child rearing part of this life, then you are dropped off a steep cliff one day when you are not needed anymore. So be careful. If you're not at that stage, let us just tell you that if you don't ease off of it a little bit and realize that they are their own human and they will make their own decisions and your opinions will no longer be needed, you can get yourself into a pretty big depressional part of life because we have built these lives. So, but on that, Jackie, because this whole episode is about, I want everyone always think I'm hunky dory, which is
Mhm.
something you said in our last podcast. And, I think for me, vulnerability is tough when you're a woman because we've had to be strong for too long. And vulnerability in particular in our generation was not something you got to be, right? So the new generation's very into their emotions and how they feel and what everybody around them makes them feel. And we're like, ain't nobody care about what we felt back when we were children. So in vulnerability, it's tough, right? Because we
And
had to
they
learn.
don't care how we feel either. They only care about how they feel. Because 'Cause I'm sorry, they make me feel upset all the time. They don't care about my feelings, only
No.
about their own.
Yeah,
I
I
could be
know.
doing everything for them, but that doesn't matter.
No. It doesn't matter because how they feel is the way they feel, and that we should
Mhm.
all be worried about how they feel. I think it's hilarious because we were in the opposite generation, right? Nobody cared how we thought.
Mhm.
But they were gonna raise these children, and one day they're gonna realize that all this tender, loving care, support, emotionalness that they're, gonna give their children will too backfire on them because anything that you get overly done in, you get annoyed by, right? So it's coming. It's just not quite here. They're just little still. So wait for it. Wait for it, girls.
Wait
It's
for it.
coming.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people, this being vulnerable thing is in particular, it asks you most difficult for you to be vulnerable with. In my case, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. Is most vulnerable for me with my children because for some reason in the back of my head, you have to be strong and everything has to be good for them. And we don't want them to worry about anything, and we wouldn't want them to think that we're struggling with anything. It's a built in narrative in our heads. And for me, that's the hardest place to be like, I am not doing so well. This isn't making me happy, or I'm upset about this, or whatever. Is that something that you kind of agree with? Who is the hardest person to be in your emotions and say how you really feel, Jack?
Yeah, I guess the children I'm with everybody. I
Yeah.
want everybody to think I'm always doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get better. I
Hold it
am trying to
together
get
for
better.
everybody, make sure everybody does
Mhm.
it. Yeah. But hardest.
The family, even like my parents,
Mhm.
my family, my husband, my kids, everybody.
So who do you turn to when you think like I'm not okay today? Your dog?
Yeah. Slillery, yeah, I do talk to my dog a lot.
I'm
That's
always
a
looking
bummer. That's why I hate summer when my windows are open because my neighbors probably think I'm crazy.
because you're talking to the dog all day.
And I'm talking to the dog about everything. I
Well,
could just figure what they talk about me.
I know. Well, I'm an animal lover, I've always been since I was a kid. I do believe that part of that is from being with lonely and having my animals and then having comfort in them moving around all the time for me too. So I talk to my dogs, talk to my husband. I'm like, now I'm gonna go to the
Mhm.
store. I'm gonna be back. It's gonna be like 10 minutes or so. Then we're gonna go walkies and we're gonna get our treats. Like, and then turn around, like, okay, I'm peace out, go to the store. And off I go to the store. Like to my husband, because like I'm not worried how he feels. I'm worried about how my dogs feel. So
And I've had some recent situations that have happened, and I'm getting better with talking to my husband and, like, talking to you and another friend of ours,
yeah,
and I have a therapist that I'm
right,
talking to, which
right.
is helping. So, I'm
For
taking
sure.
baby steps. I am
Baby
definitely
steps, yeah.
taking baby steps.
Yeah. Well, you can't.
At 56 years old. I mean, I did this a while, many, many, many years ago, and I felt I was better, and I hit the bottom again where I realized I can't do it all myself.
Right.
I need other I need help. I need people
Right.
to talk to and not think I can do all this myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So,
happens to all women. It happens to everybody at some point, right? It's like too much.
mhm.
The world has gotten had too heavy for me to handle anymore, and so a
And
therapist is
believe me, going through menopause and everything else too, I know my husband said he could see it coming.
yeah,
He could just tell my emotions and everything. It's like
right.
that I was trying to take on much and he was trying to help me. And he said he could tell I was trying to do too much
Yeah.
and trying to make everybody happy and everything was hitting me.
Well, the key to that is you can't make everybody happy. That's
Mhm.
just the way it is. Like, you cannot possibly be who you are and be true to who you are and make everybody around you happy with it. It's an impossibility. You have to let some people just be upset. And sometimes that upsetness they get around from you being who you are is really where their issues are in their own lives. Like, they need
But
to
everything's hunky dory.
it's not, Jack. It's just not 100% of the time. So you don't have to play that with me. I'll be happy to talk about, all the problems. What are they? So there is the superwoman trap, the motherhood, marriage, career, caregiver, emotional labor, your aging parents, financial stress, maintaining appearances. That all is part of this. That you may not think about it. Hopefully this episode will kind of let you get more into your thoughts about, am I really this superpower? Do I really have this thing? Is my identity being a superwoman and taking care of everybody? And please, if you feel that way, I cannot stress to you enough that it is coming. The cliffs come with the children and they will be dropping you off of it. And it's not their fault. They're supposed to go on, just like we went on from our parents. I can't imagine now calling my mom for every issue I have, even though as a child that was my source. You have to look at it from your perspective, Jack. You wouldn't call your parents for every problem you have. That's just not
No,
no.
no,
So that's just
not gonna.
not what we do. So we can't expect our children to be all of a sudden,
Mhm.
different. They're just like us. They're just in their own way. So women definitely have a hard time asking for help. And it's one of those things that I think we're just embedded in our brains, at least our generation. Maybe now the new generation asks for help too much, maybe, or expect help too much, or think help is available too much, or, they have their own way of dealing with that that is different from us. It's just that from our perspective, it's like, well, can't you handle that on your own? Like, you know how we are. Like, we did that. I didn't seem that hard. Like, just move on. You got this. Everything's going to be good. Like,
Mhm.
so we may not be the best generation parenting this other generation that's like in their feels all the time because we were never in our feels. We were never allowed to be. So there is a cost to pretending though. And, anytime that you're in this pretending mode for too long, everything's hunky dory, Jackie, can come back to bite you in the ass. So
Yeah, it
it's
does.
it builds up and something will
Snap.
let it snap. So um I just want to be very transparent on this. I'm more or less likely to be everything's hunky dory. I get more agitated. I'm more snappy. Where you want everybody happy. I don't care if you're happy. Like, be uncomfortable because I'm uncomfortable too. So that's kind of how I am. Jackie's more like everything's hunky dory and nothing's wrong and we're all good and everything's good. So you have to have an outlet though. I don't know what that outlet is. Maybe it's girls' weekends. Maybe it's hanging out, being a 12-year-old again and
I
drinking with
don't
your
think I want.
friends.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be 12 again.
Maybe we weren't drinking quite at 12. Maybe at 15 years old, out with your friends. So be silly, be, obnoxious, run around. I think some of that's good for you. I'm definitely an advocate of the girls' weekends.
Of girls' weekends, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think they help.
Let it
So
out. Let it
yeah,
out.
let it out and just be silly and then go back to your life because it makes your life more bearable for a while, at least if you've got yourself under this thing. So, all right, Jackie,
Mhm.
are we ready for Bestie Rapid Questions?
We're ready.
You go.
When do you struggle most with pretending you're okay?
With my kids, that's the hardest because I'm supposed to be the strong parent that takes care of everything, and for me, that's the hardest people to express my struggles with.
That's
Okay,
good.
Jackie, why do women feel guilty asking for help?
Because we are taught early that we can do it all.
Yeah.
And asking for help or support is admitting personal failure or burden to others. That's
I know you're watching Mad Men right now and you're in the 60s and
yes.
you're very upset about it. But do you think, even when we were children, the expectation was still on us that one day you'll marry and take care of your husband and take care of your children?
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, I had a little bit of a difference there just off this because my mom was divorced. So, and then divorced again. So, 2 divorces. And we just tried to take care of my mom, make sure my mom was okay, right? Because that was our primary parent there. And so I didn't really have this guy in my house all the time that my mom was taking care of. In fact, if I've got to be honest with you, my grandfather took care of my grandmother more. My mom probably was taken care of a little bit more than she took care of. So I'm a little bit on that side, right? That's what I learned. Your house was
Mhm.
different. Your house was very
Mhm. You had the married couple that went through everything, and then my grandmother was always she never worked. She
right.
was a stay-home, took care of my grandfather. He was kinda like the Mad Men. He was a business person with a big office and came home, and she had his slippers and his drink ready and had
Oh
his
my
pipe
god.
and yes,
Oh my
total
god.
the full on,
That
had
just
5
nauseate.
kids.
This just nauseates me. I'm like, girl, no, we're not doing.
Seriously, that's what I grew up with. You took care of the man, you did all that.
Check. You were doomed from the start, my friend. You were doomed from the start.
Luckily, I have a
Okay.
husband now that really appreciates it.
Well, your husband had another marriage.
This is awesome.
This is awesome, right? He got into a new marriage. He's like, man, she's the bomb. But thankfully, that's good. He had some contrast, right? So
Yep.
that's good. All right, you're
What
next.
what's the danger of always being the strong one?
The danger is that when you're the strong one, you don't know when to not be strong, right? So you build up a muscle. It's like a muscle, like going to the gym every day. You've got this muscle and it's intense and it's strong. And to the point where you don't even know how to be vulnerable or weak. And that can be a problem because when you're never vulnerable and you're never weak, it can be annoying to other people because you're like, can't possibly have it all figured out all the time. And don't you ever just break down. Everybody then thinks you're so strong that you can take all the punches. Everybody punches you and you're the easy target because you're the strong one. And that is truly the downfall of it because you don't really look at them as a person. You look at them
Mhm.
as something so strong that they can handle anything and that's not the truth. So
And
it's
I
the hidden danger.
and I answered, you became burnout, hidden loneliness, physical health
Mhm.
issues,
Yep.
depression, isolation, and resentment.
Resentment, yeah.
Comes with all of that,
Yeah. Resentment's
being
a
the
big one
strong
on
one.
that one. Yeah.
Mhm.
'Cause you are the strong one. Even if you're the strong one in your marriage, you get real resentful real quick about
Mhm.
not sharing the burden with somebody. Okay, Jackie, have
Mhm.
you ever hidden how overwhelmed you really were?
Yeah, we've been talking about that all the time.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. So I'm
Every
trying
woman
not to
does it.
now.
Yeah. Jackie is definitely got to be more willing to let everybody in and everybody know, "I'm overwhelmed, help me, like, walk it through me, get me through it." And she definitely can do that better. If I get overwhelmed, I go internal and I'm quiet. You'll know it because 'cause I'm not gonna be around very much and I'm quiet, like, I'm overwhelmed by life. So, it may not be a good thing because I could get myself in the same like isolation, resentment, all those things that we just talked about, I have to learn to do some outletting too. If I call you, I'm generally overwhelmed. I might be more like in a pissed off mood where
Mhm.
you're more apt to cry. I'm more apt to be like, F this and F that and screw these people and what a bullshit thing happened. You know what I mean? Like you're different
Mhm.
than me in that. So I guess if you get a call from me and I'm pissed off, just let me be
Let you
and just
just
agree with me. Be like, yeah. Okay, that
yeah.
guy at the grocery store was a son of a bitch. Yeah, like,
What
what's
kind of
it?
people make emotional honesty feel safe?
I think the people that I've known for a long time, my friends, really, for me, maybe because we've been through so many seasons that to be emotionally safe is really about a bunch of time for me.
They're the ones who listen to us without judgment, which that's our friends,
Yeah. And where
even
we
though
came
they're
from.
hard.
It's so much
Mhm.
easier to deal with my friends because it's the progression has happened and they can see it from start to finish. It's not an easy place to be vulnerable, so I really have to be very trusting, so I'm gonna go with people that are my friends long term. Okay. Why do women tie their worth to responsibility?
Because from a young age, some of us are conditioned. We're kinda conditioned for it.
We are from the
Mhm.
get-go. Yeah. Needs to be a time, a change that we're best friends and we gotta tell each other things. You gotta just listen to us for a minute. Well, my eldest tells me that Cinderella is not owned by Walt Disney, that it is a story that's a folktale and that anybody can make a movie about it, just that Disneyland did it first. We need to make a movie, Jackie, about
Okay.
Cinderella after fact. gets fat, has kids, and is pissed off at him.
Oh my gosh.
So, anyway, sidebar. Sorry, everybody. Okay.
That's funny. What's the difference between privacy and emotional isolation?
Privacy is when you don't want anybody to know about your issues, I guess. And emotional isolation is when you're actually feeling things and you're not letting anybody know about it. So you're emotionally isolating yourself so that people don't know how you're feeling. Privacy is fine. I mean, you have problems, you have privacy. Emotional isolation is kind of more what I do when I was telling you, like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm kind of by myself. And, I probably learned that from a childhood of being by myself a lot to like solve my own problems all the time. So for me, I go internal. My dad used to slam my head together with my brothers when I would cry because we'd both get in trouble every time I complain about something. So all those things kind of come into childhood thing. Like we get in trouble, he'd be like, come here. I slam our heads together and be like, shut up, both of you. We're like,
Ouch.
no.
That's painful.
It explains things though, doesn't it? I was not allowed to complain, even about my own father, about my problems. Why do women fear being taken? Why do women?
We are taught if we are too emotional, we are told we are dramatic, irrational, crazy, needy, hysterical, etc.
Yeah. Wacko.
Yeah, I had all kinds of words for that, but I had to stop myself.
From this one, why do women fear being too much emotionally? Because I'd get my hands slammed together with my brother. So I learned to be real quiet about my problems real quick. So that was just parenting style in the 1970s. Everybody is like, you're crazy, not crazy. What do they call the girls now?
Psycho.
Psycho. Yeah, lunatic. I don't know. They have new words for each other, but those are the words we used.
Yeah.
You're next.
What does healthy support actually look like?
I think someone that you can call and allows you to vent and then walks you through it and then convinces you that it's okay, that you're okay, that everything's going to be okay. I think that's what healthy support looks like. It can't be like, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong.
Yeah, help you or listen to you. Yeah.
Listen to you and then just be like, okay, you're okay, right? Like convince you that you are okay too. What's one thing women need to stop apologizing for, Jack?
Being me.
Yeah.
I'm always
Coming
apologizing
to,
for just being me, I guess. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being me.
Jackie's not apologizing anymore for being her, nor should you. I agree.
I know.
All right. I think a lot of women have spent their entire lives becoming incredibly good at surviving quietly, smiling through heartbreak, functioning through exhaustion, showing up while falling apart privately, making everyone else comfortable while they carry more than anyone realizes. And eventually that becomes lonely because the truth is strength was never supposed to mean suffering silently. Real strength is honesty. Real strength is allowing support. Real strength is that the people who love you can handle the truth about how you're really doing. And honestly, I think women desperately need spaces where they can stop performing being okay all the time. Maybe healing starts the moment she finally says, I'm not okay right now. And someone responds with, you don't have to carry it alone anymore. If this episode hit you in the feels or made you laugh way too hard, we consider that a win.
Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your ride or die.
And when you're ready to make your friendship official, book your bestimony at rhinestoneweddingchapel.com.
Because the best love stories don't always come with a ring.
We stick together, ride or die to the moon, and no amount of space could ever come between us two. The reuniting's like we never been apart, and every single time we're eye to eye and heart to heart. There's not enough words to describe what you mean to me. Through heartaches and ups and downs in this life, you've stayed right next to me. I vow to make you laugh till you cry and talk about everything under the moon. The definition of a best friend is you. same page. We're writing our story every day. We'll keep on growing, ever changing. There's not enough words to describe what you mean to me. Through heartaches and ups and downs in this life, you've stayed right next to me. I vow to make you laugh till you cry and talk about everything under the moon. The definition